Hi, now if like me, you can't resist those really rich, creamy, indulgent desserts, but then you kick yourself afterwards for all the calories you've consumed, well don't worry, help is at hand. We've got Vanessa, Nestle nutritionist, here to give us some handy hints on how to avoid those calorie pitfalls.
Fantastic. Thanks, Richard, and thanks for having me here today. And you're absolutely right. There are a lot of rich, creamy desserts out there that taste great when you're having them, but afterwards you've had way more kilojoules and a lot more fat than you thought you might have had. So, very excited that we're going to be doing a makeover of a lower fat dessert.
So we're going to make a delicious, creamy cheesecake, but we're not having all the fat, so it still tastes great.
Absolutely.
But we've compromised the amount of calories.
Exactly.
So the first thing to do with any cheesecake is to make the base.
Okay.
And to do that, we just melt the margarine in the microwave, do it about 90% power or just not quite full power, and blitz the biscuits in the food processor. Put them both together,
Yep.
and then we put the base in a springform pan and we just press it down.
Oh, okay.
And it looks like that. And what I like about this is actually with the margarine, it's still set in the same way as it would with butter.
Great, we've got a healthier alternative and it's still working the way you want it to.
Now, talking of springform pans, because I always use these and use
Okay.
these a lot, but I found out that not everyone really knows how to use them.
Right.
Because there is an easy way to use them. So Vanessa, I'd like you to show me how you would normally put one of these together.
Okay, I'll give it a go. Okay, so I would go like that and lock it like that.
As would most people, that's not the right way to do it.
Right,
The
okay.
right way to do it, because the reason for that is that you've got a big lip there, you see? So if you try and take your cheesecake off, it's going to get caught on that. So you flip it over that way, it's still going to be a tight seal, but this way is nice and smooth now.
Okay, fantastic. That makes perfect sense. I'll remember that one.
Okay, Vanessa, if you could pop that in the fridge just to chill down and set.
Okay, sure. How long does it need to go in for?
That's about 30 minutes.
30 minutes? Fantastic. All right.
Okay, and I'll get on to the filling. So as this is a citrus cheesecake, we need some citrus fruit. So I'm using 1 orange, 1 lemon and 1 lime. Now, importantly with these, use the zest as well as the juice because the zest contributes so much flavour. I've got some low-fat ricotta cheese and some low-fat cream cheese.
That's great, Richard. I'm glad to see you using the lower fat products. If you look at the low fat ricotta and your low fat cream cheese, you're taking out about half of the kilojoules and half of the fat,
Wow.
and importantly saturated
Wow.
fat from the actual ingredient. So we're coming along really nicely. We've got our wholemeal biscuits, we've got margarine instead of butter, and now we've got these low fat, fantastic tasting alternatives.
So the next ingredient is we're going to use some Nestle skimmed sweetened condensed milk.
I'm glad to see you using that type of product because typically you'd use cream in these.
Absolutely. Whipped cream often,
Whipped cream?
double cream. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and as we know, cream is very, very high in fat and therefore kilojoules. So this type of product is great because it's virtually fat-free, it's a skim product, and because it's actually sweetened, we don't have to add any additional sugar to the recipe.
Absolutely. Less ingredients as well. So then our last ingredient is just 3 teaspoons of gelatine.
Oh, okay.
So the first thing now, Vanessa, is to take the zest off of all the citrus fruit. Wow, smell that.
Oh, that's beautiful, Richard. Look at that. That's absolutely gorgeous.
So we're going to save this and
Yep.
we're going to add this to the juice later. It's really going to lift that flavour and intensify it. Straight onto the juice now.
Okay.
And don't forget to strain it because we don't want all the pips
pulp?
and the pulpy bits
Okay.
in there, yeah. So that's the orange done.
Okay.
All we need to do now is the same with the lime and the lemon.
Lemon.
So that's all of our beautiful citrus juice in there. What I'm going to do now is split half of this into another jug and I'm going to add the gelatine to that and then I'm going to pop it in the microwave for a minute on around 80% power. Now Vanessa, while the juice and the gelatine is in the microwave, what we're going to do is just blitz the creamy ingredients in the food processor. Now the reason I'm using the food processor is we have got the low-fat ricotta cheese and this can be a little bit grainy. By processing it in this at high speed, it makes it really smooth and delicious.
Sounds lovely.
That looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Now to finish that off, all we need to do is we add the juice, the zest and the gelatine. I'm going to blitz that for a couple of seconds, pour it onto the base, chuck it in the fridge. Okay, so that's set up beautifully now in the fridge. So the final stage is to pour on the glaze, and that's just the juice of a lime, the juice of an orange, 2 teaspoons of gelatine. I blitzed that in the microwave and chilled it down. I'm ready to pour that over now.
Fantastic.
So what do you think, Vanessa?
Richard, this is delicious. It is amazingly smooth and creamy and absolutely packed with flavour.
But I guess the question is now, how does it stack up nutritionally?
Brilliantly. This is actually about half the kilojoules, half the fat, and half the saturated fat of a regular cheesecake.
Wow, that's massive.
I know, it's incredible, isn't it? But the one thing we do have to remember is that just because it's lowering kilojoules and fat and saturated fat doesn't mean we should be having twice as much, as that will defeat the whole purpose. So portion control is as important as choosing healthier ingredients.
Thanks very much for your help and your tips today, Vanessa. I think we've got a cracking makeover of a cheesecake here.
Thank you, it was a pleasure.